Today we're going to do something different. We are going to have a different format, and we are now starting a new series of episodes where I will sit with one of my oldest and one of my best friends from school, and we will talk about things and subjects that matter to us and would matter to majority of you. This is Haika. Haika is a doctor by profession. She graduated from CMH, Lahore, and she's working as a medical teacher.
Yeah,
In college,
medical teaching.
medical teaching, and she aspires to become a surgeon one day, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So welcome on the show, Haika.
Thank you.
so much for
I'm so
doing this.
happy to be here. Happy and nervous at the same time.
I am so excited about this episode and the ones to follow, inshallah, because they're actually going to be really good. She is, some people claim her to be the most intelligent person in Lahore. I would say one of the best and most intelligent in Pakistan and Europe now.
Oh God, I think we should end the podcast now.
For reasons I can't tell, she's also one of the best and most intelligent humans in Europe and UK. अच्छा, so thank you for being here. मैंने इसको खाना वाना नहीं दिया क्योंकि recording हो जाए पहले. अच्छा, Haika, so so today the topic for this episode is career and women and the challenges women have at the workplace. So you've been working you've graduated in which year and how long have you been working for?
So I graduated in 2021 and then I did my house job. And then afterwards I joined a college and started teaching there.
Yeah.
So it's been 2 years in total.
Yeah. So like you have 2 years of experience.
Yeah.
So what has that been like being a woman, being working there?
I think it's been, obviously naturally I think it's something that's pretty known that the medical field it's like dominated by males, right? It's sort of like it's a thing that
अच्छा, मैंने कहा था आप ख़वातीन लाती हैं.
it's changing. It's definitely changing now because now when you see the new batches that are coming in, they're like 2/3 are females. बहुत कम है लड़के अब काफ़ी कम होते जा रहे हैं over the years. मगर ये है कि जो obviously जो current the consultants that you see or the people who are like higher up the pyramid, वो they're all males. Mainly they're males. Like
The
very
older
few.
generations.
Yeah. So they're very मतलब बहुत कम like the percentage of females who made it to the top in this field, they're very low. So I think matlab, from like the exposure that I've had, I felt that it's like quite male dominated, like this field in particular. So see, obviously several reasons hai, matlab, there's a lot of things that contribute to it being this way. कि मतलब जैसे just the fact कि जो nature of the job है कि मतलब it's so like demanding कि like this you have to put in so many hours and just the time that you put in. तो naturally उस time पे people used to think differently.
Yeah.
Like different way set up था.
May Abu भी he went to King Edward, right? So he said that he had like 6 or 7 women in his batch.
Yeah.
And then gradually like they stopped working because they got married and then they wouldn't continue it.
Yeah.
So I think in that batch and the batches after that they are.
Yeah, definitely like there's been a shift now, but like अभी जो existing लोग हैं उनकी अगर बात करें तो उनका मतलब काफ़ी इस तरह से करके तो it's been I think it definitely does seem to be a more challenging career for women in particular.
What kind of challenges do you think there are? As in, just to give a disclaimer, you are unmarried, you're living with your parents, you don't have responsibilities of a husband or children so far.
So far.
Allah, inshallah. But yeah, so like just to give a context, की responsibilities तुम्हारी क्या हैं? मतलब just
No.
as such.
Yeah, so नहीं definitely हाँ मतलब challenges I feel like मतलब obviously we're talking about challenges I faced as compared to my male colleagues, right?
Yeah.
That's what you were talking about. तो हाँ मतलब me in particular, alhamdulillah, like I've had a smooth journey. Like alhamdulillah, I've never like firsthand I haven't felt discrimination of any sort or like any particular challenge जो कि मैं कहूँ कि like I can attribute this to my gender. So firsthand I haven't had that sort of an experience, but the culture that I've observed basically जो वहाँ पर workplace में जो एक dynamic setup हुआ है वो sort of इस तरह का है कि it's like sort of it's a bit biased towards males. तो उसमें जैसे like let's say मतलब even जैसे normal like if it's an OPD day तो OPD sorry it's so like it's so normal to like say these words कि वो अच्छा हाँ तो like just someone's doing a clinic so it's OPD just stands for outpatient department so people are coming in they're getting checked up we used to have this room in which like there wouldn't be offices मगर बस ऐसे मतलब ऐसे लोग बैठे हुए हैं कि doctors दो तीन बैठे हुए हैं there are two desks and one team is sitting on one side the other team is on the other side so each is headed by like one senior and then there are a couple of junior doctors with them तो मतलब as soon as the patient walks in like they're not allotted which desk they have to go to तो मतलब naturally they just go to whichever desk they see free तो उसमें like every single patient who walks in goes towards the desk with the senior who has a male doctor sitting there तो naturally मतलब every like एक बंदा गया दूसरा बंदा गया मतलब फिर like obviously एक चीज को एक दफा और दूसरी दफा you can call it coincidence right मगर वो repeatedly यही हो रहा है कि even if there are a couple of patients there already वो naturally उनकी inclination है कि हम उस तरफ ही जाएं तो एक ये वाला फैक्टर बहुत मतलब इस तरह से कि डेवलप है हुआ है कि मतलब कि मेल डॉक्टर्स दे आर मोर एक्सपीरियंस्ड और दे आर मोर लाइक they're more trustworthy और naturally कि उनका experience like because हमारी जो like the normal words that we use when we describe a doctor is their experience right कि हम यही कहते हैं कि इतना experience है डॉक्टर का तो वो मतलब automatically they move towards
which is so contradictory to the fact that लोग कहते हैं ख़वातीन are the caregivers and they are more caring and
but then वो nurses का कहते हैं
लेकिन medicine के doctors का भी मतलब care तो फिर भी उन्होंने भी तो देनी है
ना but the number of times I've been called sister is like
like just because you're a woman
yes exactly I think I've been called sister more times that I've been called a doctor by a patient because like they don't take when like you're just on like doing rounds or you're around the wards they मतलब कुछ address करना हो the word they use is sister they won't use doctor
not registered that you can't
और फिर साथ जो male colleagues हैं वो doctor साहब तो उनकी तो इज्जत यहाँ है ना
oh my god
तो इस तरह की चीज़ों की मतलब obviously naturally this isn't something जो कि मतलब like it doesn't really affect me personally like on a personal level लेकिन naturally मतलब even in this instance I'm like quoting मुझे like I felt so bad for the female
this didn't happen to you
no मतलब I was at her desk like with the female senior of ours लेकिन nobody was coming to her desk
even to the senior doctor
yeah because that's what I'm saying na like senior both of them were at the same level they had equal experience they were and the patients knew कि आप दोनों desk में से कहीं भी जा सकते हैं but they would prefer
okay I thought it happened to you and with some other junior doctors
no he had female junior doctors around him as well and like male female like वो था मतलब mix ही था among the junior doctors लेकिन जो seniors थे जो दो main desk पे बैठे हुए थे they were like different तो ये इस तरह की चीज़
अच्छा
but obviously बाकी चीज़ें तो फिर obviously like the generally field तो challenging है ही लेकिन मतलब वहाँ ये भी these factors also come in कि like ये थोड़ा सा I feel like make things challenging for women in this particular field as well
I think जो पहली बार शायद था लेकिन एक शायद नहीं था पहले भी हुआ होगा लेकिन जो एक रजिस्टर मुझे क्या था ना it was a couple of like 2-3 years back I think I was traveling with a male colleague ठीक है हम वापस it didn't really happen at the workplace but हम लोग ना इस्लामाबाद से वापस आ रहे थे तो हम भेरा पे कहीं पे रुके तो I said my colleague is basically the same age as me almost तो हमारी एज का कोई आसच नहीं था we had the same age group तो हम लोग किसी जगह पे ना भेरा पे रुके कि अच्छा कुछ खाते हैं तो वहाँ पे हम उतरे तो we went to this shop था या रेस्टोरेंट थी जो भी था तो he was like अच्छा क्या खाना है ना तो मैंने बंदे को कहा कि like let's have this तो he completely blanked me पहले तो वो मुझे देख भी नहीं रहा ना मुझे अभी तक मतलब आई कॉन्टैक्ट करके कुछ करा तो he was like मैंने बोल दिया तो he looked at the colleague and said अच्छा क्या खाएंगे जी सर आप क्या खाएंगे तो उसने बोल तो दिया उसने तो उसने रिपीट कर दिया बट लाइक दिस आई एम श्योर वैसे भी होता होगा लेकिन इन दैट सिचुएशन आई रियली नोटिस्ड इट कि मतलब मैं रजिस्टर नहीं करा कि मेरी एग्जिस्टेंस रजिस्टर करें एंड दिस टेक इट एज अ साइन ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट बट इट्स नॉट रिस्पेक्ट व्हेन यू डोंट register or you ignore the existence of a human being. That's not respect. That's like completely कि आप जो कहेंगे वो important नहीं है. I'm gonna ask
Ultimate
him.
decision तो
हाँ,
उसकी
decision
है.
maker तो वो है. And I'm like ये अच्छा तरीका है मतलब. और ये भी नहीं कि कोई एज में भी मुझसे बड़ा था, सेम एज था. तो yeah.
होता है. और ये और have you felt this that sometimes even at least like हमारी मतलब field में मुझे one thing that I noticed was even the nurses, they have a very different like attitude towards male doctors and female doctors. Such a stark difference. But this difference is not something which I feel. This is something that even the male doctors acknowledge. उनको नजर आता है कि we get a different treatment than the female doctors.
ये वो काम फिर सुनते सही हैं.
हाँ definitely. like इस तरह से बहुत मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा हुआ है कि like it's not just मतलब it's very common. मतलब एक चीज़ होती है ना कि people who are on the receiving end of it, they मतलब ये आप सोचते हो कि maybe like they exaggerated it or maybe like they're thinking too much into it. लेकिन वो the other side वो भी उनको भी ये feel होता है. मतलब male doctors also feel this way कि जैसे मतलब even just the way they dress them, मतलब कि even the way the tasks are delegated कि nurse जो male doctor को बुलाएंगी तो वो डिफरेंट एक वो होगा, उनका टोन ही डिफरेंट, लहजा ही डिफरेंट होगा कि और फीमेल को करेंगी तो इट विल बी लाइक कि आप मतलब सॉर्ट ऑफ होते हैं ना कि आपने ये काम करना ही करना है. लाइक इट्स एन ऑर्डर, इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक एन ऑर्डर, इट्स नॉट अ रिक्वेस्ट. विद द मेल डॉक्टर इट्स अ रिक्वेस्ट कि डॉक्टर साहब प्लीज़ ये देख लें, ये पेशेंट पे तंग कर रहा है, आके देख लेंगे, आप देख सकते हैं. तो विद अस के वो और नॉट इवन डॉक्टर साहब, लाइक नॉट इवन एचओ मतलब जैसे लाइक यूजली वो होता है ना कि मतलब वी आर बेसिकली हाउस ऑफिसर्स व्हेन यू आर डूइंग हाउस जॉब. तो एचओ इज समथिंग दैट्स यूज्ड टू लाइक कॉल अस एंड मतलब वैसे डिनोट करना होता है. तो वो बस हाँ इस तरह से करके कि एचओ को बुलाओ, कहाँ है वो, देख क्यों नहीं रही पेशेंट को. आए एचओ मतलब वहाँ पे डॉक्टर नहीं चले जाएगा, एचओ हो जाएगा डायरेक्टली. तो मतलब कॉमन काफ़ी है कि दिस हैपेंस. और
कंडीशनिंग हुई है.
हाँ और मतलब यही कि मतलब द वे जैसे कुछ चीज़ें कुछ टास्क होंगी जो कि हाँ मतलब दे विल डेलीगेट देम ऑटोमेटिकली टू द लोअर स्टाफ. जैसे जो वार्ड बॉयज़ हैं या फिर जो आया जीज हैं उनको दे देंगे कि मतलब अच्छा ये अब ये जूनियर डॉक्टर जाके करेंगे. लेकिन विद अस लाइक वो वाली भी टास्क हमें करनी, मतलब दे वोंट मेक लाइक ऑब्वियसली दिस इजंट द केस विद एवरीवन. लाइक बहुत वो बड़ी एक वो स्टेटमेंट हो जाएगी कि हर कोई ये करता है और ऑल नर्सेज डू दैट. बहुत अच्छी नर्सेज भी होती हैं वो, मतलब ऑब्वियसली उनके साथ बहुत अच्छा वर्क एनवायरनमेंट है. लेकिन द वंस हु डू डिस्क्रिमिनेट वो इस तरह से भी डिस्क्रिमिनेट करते हैं कि the type of task that they delegate to you, वो भी उसमें भी वो डिफरेंस करेंगी कि उनको कोई और देंगी, हमें कोई और दे देंगी. कि मतलब they won't care कि अच्छा हमारी शायद मे बी लाइक दिस वोंट सीम रिस्पेक्टफुल कि आप इस कैपेसिटी में आप ये वाला काम करो. तो दे वोंट थिंक अबाउट दैट. तो ये चीज़ें ये वाली होती हैं लाइक देयर वेरी लाइक सबलिमिनल लेकिन होती हैं. चैलेंज जो आई थिंक मतलब एक सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक स्टीरियोटाइप बन जाते हैं ना वर्क प्लेस पे विद when you're talking about like our field कि मतलब females तो they're only good for gynae. कि वो अच्छी gynecologist ही बन सकती है. कि मतलब I remember कि हमारी कोई एक क्लास हो रही थी, कोई सेशन हो रहा था और जो हमें पढ़ा रहे थे प्रोफेसर जो पढ़ा रहे थे we were standing in the group और I just happened to be standing in front. तो सारे उनके क्वेश्चन मेरी तरफ डायरेक्टेड थे. तो 2-3 क्वेश्चन के मुझे नहीं जवाब आया. I did not give him the right answer. तो एक क्वेश्चन का एक साथ मेरे खड़ा हुआ था मेल स्टूडेंट था, बल्कि मेरा दोस्त ही था. तो वो उसने जवाब दे दिया. तो जैसे ही उसने जवाब दिया तो उन्हें बड़ा फुल अप्रिशिएट करके कि वो ये तो हाँ सही ये हुई ना बात. और आप तो गायनी में ही जाएं आप लोग, आप यहाँ पर आपका क्या करना है, यहाँ पर आप गायनी आपके लिए
जो बायसेस हैं.
हाँ तो मतलब ये द फैक्ट है उन्होंने फॉरन ही मतलब डिसमिस कर दिया. 1-2 जवाब मेरे गलत हुए और लाइक और ये सिर्फ ये भी नहीं कि लाइक उन्होंने इस पे ये किया कि स्टीरियोटाइप ये कि अच्छा लाइक अब फीमेल है तो इसको गायनी नहीं जाना चाहिए. और मतलब दिस इज सो डिसमिसिव टू द फील्ड ऑफ गायनेकोलॉजी एज वेल कि मतलब इट्स सच अ हार्ड फील्ड टू बी इन. मतलब आप नहीं बहुत मुश्किल है, इट्स वेरी हार्ड. तो क्या आप उसको एक तो ये भी चीज़ डिसमिस कर रहे हो कि मेरी अपनी राइटफुल प्लेस है और मैं जो भी चाहूँ मेरी मर्जी है कि मैं जो भी अपनी पैशन से जो चीज़ परस्यू करना चाहूँ करूँ. दूसरी बात ये भी कि अगर मैं गायनी में जाती हूँ तो वो समहाउ लाइक इट्स द ईजियर थिंग बिकॉज लाइक आई एम अ फीमेल. तो इस टाइप की एग्जैक्टली कि मतलब क्योंकि फीमेल डोमिनेटेड है तो वो इजी भी है उसे रिलेटिवली और मैं तो आई बिलोंग देयर मतलब मैं तो गायनी में बाय डिफॉल्ट जाना चाहती
तो
हूँ।
इट्स ऑब्वियस कि खातून है तो गई नहीं।
हाँ मतलब
लेकिन
ये
आपके
बहुत
बंदे आए हैं लाइन में या नहीं?
हाँ आ रहे हैं मतलब देयर आर रिनाउंड गायनोकोलॉजिस्ट जो कि मतलब मेल भी हैं तो मगर अगेन आई थिंक इन आवर सोसाइटी बाहर तो बहुत ज़्यादा है मगर इन आवर सोसाइटी आई थिंक वो वैसी ज़रा हेजिटेशन है ना इस तरह से कि मेल गायनोकोलॉजिस्ट को नहीं दिखाना तो तो ये वाली भी बात है और भी मतलब मकसद जस्ट आई थिंक इस लिहाज से भी बहुत another very important thing is कि मतलब just the hours that are involved कि मतलब you're staying away from home you have overnight आपकी duties हैं you're on call the hospital that I did my house job in that was alhamdulillah very secure we did not feel as threatened in terms of कि security or we're staying overnight तो लेकिन फिर ये है कि बहुत जगह पे इस तरह से होता है like a lot of people face this issue के क्योंकि कल्चर ऐसा डेवलप हुआ होता है कि the patients can just barge in into your room whenever they want कि अब रिपोर्ट अब आ गई है तो we're just going to barge in and like ask for an answer क्या या फिर आगे क्या होगा या उससे कॉल करें या उससे करें तो they don't respect the fact कि फीमेल है अंदर या मतलब like हमने एक प्राइवेसी करनी है डॉक्टर की मेल या फीमेल दोनों के साथ ही होता है इट्स नॉट कि सिर्फ फीमेल्स की वो रिस्पेक्ट नहीं करते मेल की भी नहीं करते मगर ऑब्वियसली एज ए फीमेल इट इम्पैक्ट्स यू मोर तो हाँ तो मतलब इस तरह की चीज़ें मतलब दिस इज़ ऑल्सो अ चैलेंज आई फील लाइक इन आवर पर्टिकुलर फील्ड फॉर फीमेल्स की यू हैव टू आपकी ड्यूटी आवर्स इस तरह की हैं डिमांडिंग है कि वो फिर डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द प्लेस दैट यू वर्किंग एट जस्ट द कल्चर ऑफ दैट प्लेस आपको इस तरह की चीज़ें इश्यूज फील होंगे
हरासमेंट के कोई इश्यूज होता है?
डेफिनेटली होते हैं मतलब it's very common because again
It's common.
it is very common मतलब things go मतलब वही वाली बात है कि unnoticed चली जाती हैं दब जाती हैं because then
रिपोर्ट
again
नहीं होती
रिपोर्ट नहीं होती और अब यही होता है कि अच्छा पहली सीनियर जो हैं वो उन्होंने आपकी ज़िंदगी इतनी मुश्किल की होती है तो वो फिर a lot of people just don't speak up or say something out of just you know fear कि मतलब it's going to get more difficult in your workplace or मतलब ये बहुत like this is something that happens I feel like it's more common in the field of medicine हमारे पाकिस्तान में I can't speak for बाहर का जो culture है लेकिन I feel like this is one of those fields जहाँ पर ये चीज़ common है specifically इस dynamic में कि क्योंकि the senior has so much power over you इतना उनका influence होता है मतलब आप general अगर पॉपुलर लोगों में देखें तो patients feel so like you know obliged और वैसे डॉक्टर को इस तरह से फील वो करवाते हैं कि ऐसे पता नहीं मतलब क्या है तो
गॉड कॉम्प्लेक्स भी होता है
या एग्जैक्टली तो वो फिर उसको वो ही चीज़ ट्रांसलेट होती है इन योर वर्क डायनामिक तो वो यही होता है और फिर अगेन कमिंग बैक टू द पॉइंट कि वर्क आवर्स इस टाइप के हैं कि यू हैव टू इंटरैक्ट एट ऑड आवर्स और आप लाइक इफ यूर लेट्स से इफ यूर अटेंडिंग द ओटी तो आप मतलब प्रॉक्सिमिटी भी है टाइम भी कुछ इस तरह से है तो मतलब there are instances या फिर like the chances of people making such advances are like I feel like easier मतलब वो उसमें opportunity sort of ज़्यादा उनको नजर आती है
कोई checks and balances नहीं है
not really I think unless like someone takes makes it obvious or takes a very strong stance against it और तो usually यही होता है कि मतलब from the people
sensitization events या कुछ इस तरह की
नहीं there's nothing like that I wish and I hope कि इस तरह से की चीज़ें हों because considering कि ये कितना होता है लेकिन फिलहाल at this point in time इस तरह से particularly नहीं होता और ये भी है शुक्र है ये वाली चीज़ है कि once something is brought up तो एक्शन लेते हैं मतलब they do try कि मतलब कुछ अगर इस तरह का कुछ रेक्टिफाई हो सकता है कोई ऐसी सिचुएशन है तो वो करें लेकिन वो लोग इसी डर से नहीं करते हैं
they don't speak out
yeah they don't speak out
and इसमें improve करना भी बहुत मुश्किल है
exactly
like how do you prove that
yeah it's your word against theirs
yeah
वो और specifically especially अगर if it's a senior
yeah
so it's your word against the senior तो mostly जो यही होता है कि the path that people usually take they'll just change their teams or they'll change their duties कि आप किसी और के सुपरविजन में आ जाए तो ये वाली चीज़ तो है डेफिनेटली है तो challenges as a female I think they do exist like they in this particular field हैं significant हैं और लेकिन like I would also want to add one thing कि जो मुझे like I feel like something that I've experienced or noticed कि in Pakistan in a way I feel like it's easier for a female in certain ways to be a doctor because of the मतलब जो जितनी low pay है literally like that's the only point I feel like जिसमें हमें मतलब हमारे लिए आसानी है इस सेंस में कि
For
community
those
में
females who are not responsible
who
or
are
who are
not
the
exactly
breadwinners.
yeah that's one condition that should be there कि आप अगर आप
These are many
not
females who are responsible.
exactly you're right कि मतलब जो जिन लोगों को नहीं support करना जो कि अभी majority chunk हमारा बनाते हैं तो वो उनके लिए बेहतर है फील्ड इस लिहाज से कि उनको इतने पैसे नहीं मिलेंगे तो if they're like मतलब with their in comparison to their male colleagues तो they naturally won't need to earn much
Yeah.
more इस scenario में कि जब when they're like running a household you're earning for their household तो फिर उन वो naturally फिर वो deviate कर जाते हैं या फिर they choose to go out कि मतलब हम के in search of better opportunities क्योंकि जितनी पे हमें मिलती है वो that can't run a household
I'm sure.
that's just especially वो तो disparity है ना कि in terms of कि the effort you're putting in and the outcome
For
you're getting
sure.
वो तो extreme disparity है लेकिन जो यही बस the fact कि if you're not running a household be it even if you're a male or a female मतलब वो जो भी आपका scenario है क्या nobody's dependent on you तो तब आप आराम से अपनी ट्रेनिंग को as a passion उसे लेके चलो लेकिन अगर आपको खुदा किसी को सपोर्ट करना पड़ जाए तो वो तो और फिर इतना मुश्किल होता है कि मतलब बेचारे people have to like work 2-3 jobs at one time कि even like मतलब even with my father like I've never seen him do just one job and because like वही के
And he's so experienced.
हाँ he's exactly लेकिन उनको शुरू से मैंने more than one job करते हुए
Or
देखा
maybe he's just a workaholic.
वो तो अब हम कह सकते हैं ना कि मतलब if he's like now it justifies कि अच्छा ठीक है मतलब अगर more than one job है तो it's not because he needs it it's just because he enjoys doing that तो लेकिन जो initial times है वो तो it was a requirement like if he's building a family he needs to do more than one job तो कभी डॉक्टर की यहाँ पे पाकिस्तान में will never pay you especially when you're starting off
Yeah, I think आपको clinics में इसलिए वो भेजते हैं
हाँ
और पहले daytime job होते हैं so taking a little bit of tangent, why did you choose to have a career? Was it like an option? Oh, I'm gonna have a career, whatever that career might be, but or just not have one.
I don't think I ever made a decision ever. Like it just seemed such a thing कि मतलब by default
I think
I'm
तुम्हारा
supposed
तो
to have a career.
not just तुम्हारा तो career भी नहीं पर तुम्हारा by default था कि मैं डॉक्टर
मैं पैदा होते साथ
I remember like even like in 8th grade and 7th grade you like Dr. Haika so like तुम्हारा नाम ये रखा था हमने Dr. Haika
I don't know मेरी हाँ मैं
मुझे 9th grade तक definitely clearly याद है
हाँ I can't delineate कि मैं कब नहीं बनना चाहती थी डॉक्टर
What's feminism to you?
Feminism I think मतलब it just I think it's equity like मुझे मेरे लिए like equity and feminism is interchangeable for me like whenever I think of the concept of feminism so it just means equity to me कि आप मतलब according to the needs of women like the needs and demands of women उनको वो वाली opportunities provide की जाए और and they're given as much importance their needs are given as much importance जितनी males को की जाती है या men को मतलब उनकी है exist करती है तो it's not equality it's equity in my opinion तो हाँ like that's what like I think जो baseline जो जिसे मैं कहूँ कि my understanding of it and what I believe in
Pakistan में do you think it's either misunderstood or do you think we need feminism in Pakistan?
Yeah, definitely. I think कोई भी like not even Pakistan. I think any society that you take up like उनमें I feel like feminism is needed.
Yeah.
Or
But if you like look at the local context, like Pakistani context, because there's a big school of thought which says that oh we don't need feminism, or it's a Western propaganda. हम तो सारे हकूक देते हैं ख़वातीन को यहाँ पे और क्या हकूक चाहिए. And it's not just like a small group of people or like one small extremist group of people. It's like the normal general point of view कि feminism बहुत कोई दरख्वास्त कोई काफिराना चीज़ है and we can't even talk about it and it's really wrong. Like औरत march के बारे में I don't know what your opinion is, but they have like really strong opinions about that and gender balance को it's interpreted very differently. So what do you think about that?
I think definitely it's needed because I think काफी misunderstood है the concept of feminism and naturally I think अब हो भी गया है मतलब I feel like it's deviated from its core like values what the movement what it started with. I feel like it's gone like much like further from what it began with. So I think it's very misunderstood मतलब even with the Aurat March के मतलब और वही होता है ना कि like I feel like as a society it's just very easy for us to like highlight the negative points of it और जिसके मतलब उसके ऊपर ही लाइट करें कि अच्छा ये क्या हो रहा है ये क्या हो रहा है but talk about the positive things that they're putting forward.
I'll tell you what I think. इसमें ना feminism is like a whole spectrum. So there are different waves of feminism. एक तो basic radical feminism है. ठीक है अब हर सोसाइटी का उसके मुताबिक कि वो किस पोजीशन पे है यू हैव फेमिनिज्म अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट पर्टिकुलर सोसाइटी. हमारे पास जो हाईलाइट किया जाता है ना या कहा जाता है कि गलत चीज़ है वो रैडिकल फेमिनिज्म कहा जाता है. एंड आई पर्सनली हु इज अ ह्यूज फेमिनिस्ट डोंट बिलीव इन रैडिकल फेमिनिज्म एनीवे नॉट इन पाकिस्तान एटलीस्ट बिकॉज आई थिंक जो रिसीविंग एंड पे है वो भी गलत इंटरप्रेट कर रहा है और जो कन्वेइंग एंड पे वो भी गलत कन्वे कर रहा है. बिकॉज एक दो चीज़ें एक तो औरत मार्च चलो एक साइड पे रखो वैसे जनरली जो फेमिनिस्ट्स हैं जो some are too vocal but in the wrong way. मतलब you need to know your audience कि आपकी audience है क्या पाकिस्तान में what are you looking what kind of feminism are you looking for? Are you looking for someone who wears nothing and goes out and speaks up or do you want absolute basic rights कि उनको मारा ना जाए. It's कि आप उनको ऑनर किलिंग्स ना करो आप उनको एजुकेशन प्रोवाइड करो आप इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटीज दो. That's the kind of feminism that we need. Not the extreme end जो की जाती है हाईलाइट but even that I feel कि बहुत कम है as such. बहुत small sector or sector community which is actually talking about radical feminism. जो कि we let's not go into that. लेकिन even औरत मार्च बहुत मिसयूज की गई है because I attended in 22. I covered it for a newspaper and they were talking about reproductive rights of women and the reproductive health of women. No, sorry, not the rights but the reproductive health of women, not abortion as such. But कि उनकी क्या हेल्थ की सिचुएशन है क्या उनको मेडिकल नीड्स मीट हो रही हेल्थ की बेसिकली बारे में. बट सोशल मीडिया के पे क्या दिखाते हैं वही जो 3-4 स्लोगन्स लोगों को पता है बट एक्चुअली मैंने पर्सनली एक दूसरा स्लोगन नहीं देखा ऐसा बैनर नहीं देखा या ऐसी कोई भी चीज़ नहीं देखी जो कि एक्सट्रीम में रैडिकल एंड पे हो. बट देन पीपल आर अगेंस्ट इट फॉर द सेक ऑफ बीइंग अगेंस्ट बिकॉज दिस सॉ अ फ्यू पोस्ट्स ऑन इंस्टाग्राम व्हिच वर नॉट directly related to what the Islamic or Pakistani society accepts basically. But yeah, I agree it is equity and equal opportunity and ये भी है मतलब I've had discussions with people who said कि oh we give the rights to people, their wives or their women but then मैं कहूँगी अच्छा are they decision makers in your family and they're like no but we have given them the freedom to घर के अंदर जो भी बनाने करने हैं decisions वो आप कर लो which is not feminism which is not equality.
Yeah, and even I think मतलब you can't like take a movement and apply it universally.
Exactly.
Like nothing can be because itni that there's like people are so diverse even if you just talk about this small area मतलब अगर जिस एरिया में अभी हम बैठे हैं just like radius आप कितना आप कर लो कि 3 miles का radius कर लो उसमें भी इतने लोग differently like their way of thinking would be different, their like the way they're perceiving things that would be very different. तो I think कोई भी एक movement can't be like universal in the sense कि if क्योंकि हर every country, every population, they're at a different level. मतलब हम उस we're not to the level of like self actualization जैसे बाकी societies हैं इस
But
point पे.
then फिर लोग कहेंगे, oh, we're not looking up to them. We don't want to be them.
No, not even like it's not even कि are you trying to be like some other society in a way. आप like your main तो goal ये होता है ना कि you want the people around you and your society to get better, not like some other society or just generally better. वो तो that's such a subject.
वो है ना साजिश है कि you want to be like them. I don't understand that concept, and I know a lot of the majority of the people think like that over here. But
तो वो बहुत I think वो like just what you're talking about कि the way I dress, like the way females dress or freedom to dress, वो तो बहुत आगे की बात है.
exactly.
हमारा इतना बेसिक है like हमने तो जहाँ से उनकी जहाँ से उनकी शुरू होती है like बाहर जो दूसरी कंट्रीज हैं, कई कंट्रीज ऐसी हैं कि जहाँ पर उनका फेमिनिज्म की लाइन स्टार्ट होती है वहाँ पर हम अभी पहुँचे ही नहीं हैं. हमारी फिनिश लाइन है like that's what we aspire to कि हमने यहाँ पर पहुँचना है. तो it's very like I think बहुत subjective है to like the country that you're living in, the people you're living around and stuff like that. तो I feel like मतलब basic again जैसे like you said that things that were brought up in like certain movements that were happening throughout. मैं अब like particularly औरत मार्च का नहीं कहना चाह रही हूँ because उसे इतनी वो मतलब इतनी polarization उसके वो इसमें हो गई है ना कि तो मतलब generally मतलब things जो इस डायरेक्शन में होती हैं उसमें I feel like there is a lot of confusion in the goals that you're trying to achieve from it. So feminism over here means completely different from what feminism would be in, for example, USA or like any other country. तो बहुत ज़्यादा different है. Even like just मतलब एक household में एक person का feminist होना could just mean कि she can go out of her house like on her own. जैसे you said कि like वो उसको decision making की जरूरत नहीं है कि बस घर में जो भी आपने करना है कर लो बस ये that's your like role. तो मतलब बहुत subjective है. It's such a case to case thing.
And like 52% of our population is female. और आपने उसको suppress किया हुआ है. And you feel proud over that. जो misinterpretations हैं of things which need to be interpreted by equal representation of both the sexes and then interpreted instead of जो कि already exist कर रहा है और जो माहौल में लेके गया या जिन्होंने कोई इतनी education नहीं है उन्होंने बोल दिया कि हाँ बस ये है तो blindly follow कर देना and just claiming ये है. उसके अलावा why do you think or do you think that women should have careers and they should be earning money and they should be financially independent?
100%. I'm such a big proponent of this thing कि you need to be in this day and age. I think पहले की जो चीज़ें थी वो different थी. Like we're not going to like because we're living in this day and age, so we have to be like up to date with that. So अभी at this moment I feel like there's nothing more important than being financially independent for a female. Like I think it just changes your life completely because it just I think like for me it's like a basic need almost. Like if I talk about myself, like I cannot imagine not being this way or not having a career because चाहे आपको कुछ भी हो like it does not have to be a बड़ा कोई डेकोरेटेड करियर हो आपका like you पता नहीं आप कहाँ पर पहुँच गए अपने करियर में. That does not matter. Just the fact that you're earning something of your own. Like you at the end of the day you have some money that you can call your own and you know what you want to do whether it's your decision completely. So I think that brings so much freedom on all levels. Like आपकी ज़िंदगी में there's so many places or so many parts कि आप जहाँ पर this could potentially hold you back. Like it could मतलब आपकी इतना impact करता है on your decision making.
Exactly.
तो like इतनी मतलब हमारे पास examples ही इतनी है कि मतलब हमारी जो mothers की जो generation है like there's so many cases obviously हमारी उसमें भी हैं लेकिन मगर जो ज़्यादा predominantly आप देखेंगे मतलब उसमें यही है ना कि this is something that holds them back from just making big decisions.
हम्म,
तो सबसे पहले यही वाली बात आती है कि अच्छा तो मतलब अगर ये वाला स्टेप उठा लिया तो फिर मतलब सर्वाइवल कैसे होगा. तो like that pulls them back from so many things. तो I think it's very important, like चाहे आप थोड़ा सा like आप घर बैठ के कर रहे हो और you have your
And
own
these
startup or
things is a
anything at all.
human right. Like उसके अलावा like how do you I personally like I'm not gonna deny that we are both from privileged backgrounds and we
Yeah,
both
definitely.
belong to a kinds of families who are very supportive of this and encourage this and that. So we're not shying away from our privilege. But at the same time I can't even imagine a human being not being independent. How can you be dependent on another human being? Like आपकी self respect and जो भी ठीक है आपके roles हैं आपकी responsibilities हैं, that's one thing. But एक basic एक need है जैसे आप सांस लेते हो जैसे you need to have the right and the financial independence to live the life the way you want to live. Because as it is इतनी restrictions हैं, as it is इतना there's so many things which are not in your control in life. So एक थोड़ी सी जितने से fear of influence में चीज़ें आती हैं वो आप उसके थ्रू भी कंट्रोल कर सकते हो. You can make decisions based on that particular source of income.
There's just the fact that you get a choice.
Yeah.
The power
Right,
that
have
you
choice,
yeah,
yeah.
the choice that you get from being financially independent, like even फिर बाद में आप बेशक you're not using it
Exactly.
or you're not doing things just you're not just like following your own pathway and just like disregarding everyone, you're not doing that, but just the fact that you have the choice कि in case खुदा न खास्ता God forbid something really bad happens in your life, so there's a way out for you, like it won't be the end of the world.
And you don't even have to like spend that money or don't need to have के actively get any responsibilities नहीं है मुझे क्या ज़रूरत है. Even then you're not like आप पैसे अपने पास रखो. You should have to, अगर आपने नहीं भी earn करे you should have the capacity to earn. ठीक है अभी आप 2 साल 3 साल if you don't want to do anything and be a stay at home daughter might as well do that. ठीक है पता है आजकल मुझे काफ़ी लगता है chill करूँ मैं. लेकिन कैपेसिटी होनी चाहिए ना आपके पास, इतनी होनी चाहिए, स्किल होनी चाहिए, डिग्री होनी चाहिए कि अच्छा कि कल को मैंने कभी कुछ करना हो. पता है बस खान कहते थे थिंक इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग कि आई शी टुक टाइपिंग का कोर्स
अच्छा
कि अगर कुछ ना भी हो तो मैं बस कम से कम ये हो कि मैं बस बैकअप प्लान हो.
That's amazing honestly कि मतलब someone of her caliber at some point in her life she was
She
like
needed a
typing,
backup. But at the same time, there is nothing wrong with not wanting to have a career either.
Yeah, that 100%.
Right to choose सब में है. If you don't want, if you want to be a stay-at-home wife or just not do anything, that's also right. But at the same time, we're talking about having the freedom to make that choice, not being forced into that.
Yeah, definitely. मतलब फिर वही वाली बात है ना कि you maybe you get to that point where you have a career or you have the basics that you need to establish.
And it doesn't even have to be a degree. It can be a skill.
Exactly.
It can be just the capacity or the urge to learn something. Not just कि मतलब will होनी चाहिए आप में. अगर वो है ही नहीं तो फिर it can be problematic and it can keep you stuck in places that you don't want to be.
Definitely. और वही again वही वाली बात की like the choice to just follow whatever you want to do in your life. मतलब फिर आपको यही ज़्यादा बेहतर समझ आती है कि you're not following a career path or you're just focusing on your family life or whatever you're trying to do with your life. It's a choice that you make, actively make. It's not something that's made for you because of your circumstances. But like especially like मतलब again coming to like ये जो field है उसमें कि you don't get time to process. ये तो खैर this isn't like my thing. It just
Oh yeah, like imagine the amount of deaths that you might see.
Yeah, मतलब
The trauma that you will see.
even like you're prepared to see all of that, but you're not prepared for the time that comes after that because you do not get time to process. You are not given the margin to process anything. क्योंकि मतलब literally मतलब like I'm with a patient for the past 2 weeks मैं सब कुछ उनका देख रही हूँ. I'm like you know बहुत पूरा दिन हम मतलब उनकी चीज़ें हो रही हैं. I know how's he doing, how he's progressing. I'm talking to his family, updating them about his condition, and then one day he just passes away and मतलब I'm the one who has to tell their family and I'm telling their family about this and or we know everybody accepts obviously family उनकी है they will react or they you know ब्रीफ उनका आएगा, जो भी जिस तरह का भी उनका रिएक्शन होगा, उनको पूरी वो मार्जिन मिली है, और मुझे आई गेट द नेक्स्ट टास्क असाइन टू मी. तो लाइक मतलब even I am invested. I want this person to get better. I want this patient to like walk out.
Especially that girl who died of dengue in 2021.
Yeah, that was really like that was very harsh. और like वो तो पूरा period ही है, because वही वाला coincidentally house job was when dengue was there and
COVID was there.
COVID was there. COVID भी बहुत मतलब peak time था उसका. तो मतलब वो चीज़ें प्रोसेस ही नहीं हुई, बिकॉज टाइम ही नहीं मिलता, बिकॉज यू आर साइड विद द नेक्स्ट टास्क एज सून एज लाइक वन थिंग इज ओवर. तो वो मतलब वो यही है कि if I just like isolate myself, मैं भाग के अगर किसी रूम में जाके I bawl my eyes out, and that's the only way of processing it, because otherwise कोई वो नहीं करेगा, मतलब nobody would care, मतलब आपको यही होगा. फिर मतलब obviously मतलब the fact कि मतलब something like that I've noticed these days as well is कि I remember कि कोविड का जब कोविड की मेरी ड्यूटी लगी थी, व्हेन आई वाज वर्किंग इन they made a specific ICU which was specific to COVID cases, like बहुत ज़्यादा जो like worsen हो गए थे, they were on ventilator mostly, और वो यही था कि like there wasn't much hope regarding them. मगर वो ये होता था कि they would deteriorate very quickly, so you'd imagine them to stay a bit longer, but they would just go very quickly. तो उसमें मतलब उन दिनों में ना Taylor Swift came out with a song which was sort of a tribute to doctors who were working through that. उस song का नाम था Epiphany. ठीक है, तो वो I used to listen to that song a lot at that time.
मतलब बहुत अच्छे उसके lyrics हैं ना.
हाँ, वो है ही मतलब it's just basically it's sort of, I don't know if it's a tribute or what it is exactly, मगर वो हाँ मतलब वो it spoke about those moments.
I remember, हाँ ठीक मुझे.
उसके words बहुत अच्छे. तो अब the fact कि every single time I listen to that song again, अगर वो Spotify दोबारा playlist में आएगा ना, it doesn't just remind me, I start crying. मतलब it's so much unprocessed like emotion कि वो मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा था कि मैं रो क्यों रही हूँ, मगर वो मुझे इतना sad करता है song, क्योंकि it just sort of takes me back to that time, क्योंकि वो इतना सैड टाइम था, इतना मुश्किल टाइम था, और वही वाली बात थी कि इट वाज सैड फॉर एवरीवन, डेफिनेटली इट वाज सैड फॉर लाइक ऑल द पीपल. मैं इमेजिन भी नहीं कर सकती कि फैमिलीज के लिए कितना सैड होगा जिनके एक्चुअल लोग थे जो मर रहे थे. लेकिन उन लाइक दे समहाउ दे डिड गेट टाइम टू प्रोसेस इट, और या फिर उनको समझ आई कि अच्छा दिस इज लाइक, खैर मैं बिल्कुल भी उसको लाइक कंपेयर ही नहीं कर सकती, लेकिन बस ये वाली बात होती है आई थिंक कि दिस इज समथिंग जो कि is not talked about in like I think our community, or even like doctors, I think they're not very aware of this thing कि मतलब there's so many things, emotions जो कि उन्होंने process ही नहीं किए अभी तक, जो कि वो रोज देखते हैं उनकी, क्योंकि natural है, investment तो होगी, you do get it. If you're not invested, you're not a good doctor, because you don't care then if you're like not invested in your patient. Like why would you care or be so vigilant about what you're doing? तो और फिर naturally फिर वो that also translates to the insensitive vibe that people get from doctors, कि वो मतलब इतने डिटैच से होते हैं, इनको तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता, ये तो रोज लोगों को मरते हुए देखते हैं, क्योंकि वो देखना भी पड़ता है. मतलब वही एक बात है ना कि काम भी इतना ज़्यादा होता है कि मतलब वो फिर नेक्स्ट एकदम से ये अच्छा ये हो गया, इसको CPR किया, पेशेंट को बताया नेक्स्ट, तो वो इतना मैकेनिकल होना पड़ता है उस टाइम पे. तो डेफिनेटली आई एम नॉट जस्टिफाइंग एनी रूड बिहेवियर एनीथिंग, कि मतलब जो आपकी इनसेंसिटिव अगर फैमिली के साथ इंटरेक्शन है, लेकिन टू सम लेवल यू नीड टू बी डिटैच्ड, बिकॉज अदरवाइज यू कांट सर्वाइव. आप नहीं, एज ए ह्यूमन बीइंग यू कांट सर्वाइव, कि आप इस तरह से इतनी
I think it's like actors doing sad roles, and then getting so like bringing it out of themselves, like पुरानी memories को याद करके, and then acting, and then drains you emotionally. I mean, it's not the same thing, obviously, but like you remember trauma, and then you act according to that, and then on to the next role with the same.
Maybe a recommendation from this podcast कि बहुत ही तो आगे की बात है, बेसिक पहले सैलरी तो मिल जाए तो थेरेपी भी इंक्लूड हो जाएगी, लेकिन I feel like this should मतलब हाँ I think कुछ मतलब वो होना चाहिए, like there should be some regime
Yeah.
कि मतलब आपको jobs which involves मतलब stuff like this कि
हाँ.
near death experiences क्योंकि इतनी jobs हैं ना like firefighters इतनी like there are so many people paramedics इस तरह के who are involved with death जिनकी हैं jobs तो और मतलब any field जिसमें इस तरह की चीज़ कुछ है तो process करने के लिए या कुछ इस तरह से there should be some like sessions जो कि mandatory हैं कि अच्छा आपने लेने हैं क्योंकि oftentimes you don't know that you're feeling a certain way but then it is reflecting in your like behavior and all so I don't think it would hurt anyone मगर वो खैर बहुत आगे की बात है
That's sad कि इतनी आगे की बात है वरना ये this is like a basic thing कि this is very important आप mental patients बना दो इस तरह लोगों को daughters को इस तरह trauma देखकर especially deaths को देखकर
yeah
so this was fun anything you would like to say to the audience, to the people who have been listening to us?
I don't know. I guess thank you for tolerating us. And yeah, I think keep watching Sanya's podcast and like support her because I know she puts in so much effort into these or I can vouch for this कि मतलब वो जितनी effort सनिया डालती है ना at least मैं तो इतनी नहीं डाल सकती तो
वो डॉक्टर है काम का काम करती है
तो काफी मतलब like this was definitely something this was a long time coming right तो हमने काफी देर से plan
and like stay tuned for more episodes with like that
hopefully depending on certain factors
we were so basically the name of the channel is Stitching Consciousness. So the consciousness could be about anything. It could be topics related to environment, sustainability, circularity, and also social problems or social things like women issues, like women at the workplace and careers of women. So this is something that we both feel very strongly about, and I think that's a common point that we've had since we were very young as well, and since we were in convent. We felt that it's very important for women to be financially independent. To have a certain level of independence and have a career. So I thought that this was the main, it was बहुत आसान था कि यही हमारा obvious choice थी कि this should be our first podcast about. तो खैर we will come up with more episodes. Thank you so much for listening to us and watching us, and yeah, stay tuned for future episodes.